All right, well, we will go ahead and get started just so we have plenty of time to answer any questions that you may have today. I do want to apologize for staying off camera. My office is getting a remodel, so unfortunately it's a little bit of a mess right now. But thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Audience Identification and Marketing Plans, Unveiling Strategies for Success with Scott Clanin of Clanin Marketing. Before I hand it over to Scott, just a few quick things. You are welcome to ask questions throughout the session. We just ask that you submit those via the chat box, and we will address them once Scott is done with his presentation. You'll also receive a follow-up email due to scheduling that will go out tomorrow morning, but it will include a recording of today's session along with a link to the Clanin Marketing website where you can download a copy of today's presentation. I also want to thank our co-hosts on today's session. We have a wide variety of community partners that we work with all year long. Excuse me, I apologize. And so I do want to acknowledge them as well. I will include links to all of their sites in the follow-up email too, so you can check out their organizations if you wish. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Scott and we'll get started.
Excellent. Thank you, Jordan. And good morning. Thank you for joining us on our, actually, this is a brand new webinar topic, Audience Identification and Marketing Plans. I'll be sharing my screen, so one moment while I pull that up. All right, Jordan, just confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Again, today's topic is audience identification and marketing plans, unveiling strategies for success. This is a newer topic that Jordan and I developed earlier this year. So this is the first time that we're running through it. I'm really excited. This is a really cool session where we're talking about two critical things when you're getting started, either starting a business, maybe you're going through a rebrand, maybe you're just trying to reinvigorate some of your existing marketing strategies. This is a great topic because this is where we get started when we're working with clients for the first time. This is phase one, audience identification. So thank you very much for joining us. Again, we want to thank the SBDC for making this webinar free. I also have a couple of housekeeping items. If you'd like a copy of today's presentation, you can visit our website at claninmarketing.com/workshops. From there, just scroll midway through the page and you're going to see a For Attendees section. This is where you can fill out your name and email. And again, you'll get a PDF copy of today's presentation. In addition, at the very top of this page, we do have a series of workshop or webinars coming up for the rest of 2023. And then soon in the coming weeks, Jordan and I will be meeting to then develop the new series of webinars for 2024. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Again, all the information can be found on our website, claninmarketing.com/workshops. And to reiterate, they are free. So you can't beat that. And for the most part, they're pretty much all conducted live over Zoom. So thank you very much again for joining us. As Jordan mentioned, my name is Scott Clanin. I'm the owner of Clanin Marketing. We're a marketing creative agency based in downtown Champaign. We serve clients all across the Midwest. We started primarily as a digital agency and then moved more into the creative space, developing brands, website, videos, etc. But we do a lot of strategy building with our clients. So developing some marketing outlines, some marketing plans, auditing existing strategies that maybe companies have tried over the years. And we help kind of point clients in a certain direction. Audience identification and marketing plans, like I mentioned earlier, is really phase one. This is one of the first questions that we ask clients all the time, is simply, tell us more about who we're targeting. Because in the world of marketing, whether it be traditional forms of marketing, right? You have your print, your billboard, radio, television, or digital, more the social media, Google Ads type of side. At the end of the day, you need to know who you're talking to. And so I'm really excited to share some tips and tricks with you today. As with all of our webinars, we could spend all day, all week together, but we only have a little bit of time. I do have some time reserved for questions at the end. So like Jordan mentioned, just use a little chat box in the Zoom bar to ask your question at any point during the presentation, and Jordan will read me those questions at the very end. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. First, we're going to dive through understanding audience identification. what does it mean to identify your audience, and what are all the different ways I can identify who I need to speak to? Then we're going to go through a little social media targeting example, crafting a winning marketing plan. What are the basic principles and basic outlines for a really good marketing plan? And then we're going to go through a business example. I created a fake business, and we're going to go through kind of a little, very quick, brief, simple business outline, business plan outline, and audience identification. Going to end with some resources to leave you with, and then, of course, questions and answers. So, all right, let's dive right into it. Okay, the first section here, audience identification. So probably the reason why you're on the call, you understand why identifying your audience is so important. We've all seen ads that have either come up on Facebook, or maybe it's a commercial or a radio ad that we're like, what? Why am I getting that, right? What on this station I love listening to, that doesn't, maybe it's a country station, maybe this ad on this country station doesn't resonate with listeners, right? Maybe this this ad I'm getting is for childcare, for families. I don't have children, right? So why am I getting these ads? It's so important to understand who you're targeting, so you can really optimize your messaging and speak to the right people. So audience identification is the foundational process of defining and understanding your target audience. It's all about identifying the specific group of people who are most likely to be interested in your product or service. And that's key, people who are interested in your product or service. And we're going to go through all the different ways to identify your audience. But first, it's really important to just lean into and highlight the significance of knowing your audience, right? It's not just about, oh, I want them to click on my ad, right? There's so much more than that. One of them is effective communication. So understanding your audience allows you to speak their language, address their pain points. What problems are you looking to solve, right? And engage with them on a personal level. Relevant content. This is that little example I just gave with, okay, a country radio station, maybe running an ad that doesn't really resonate with that audience, those listeners. So enables you to create content or messaging that resonates with your target audience, increasing the likelihood of capturing their attention and fostering a connection. I've seen this done really well, where I've seen an ad on Facebook, and anytime this happens to you, where you're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling through social media, and you see a piece of content and you drop your thumb. That's what we call thumb stopping content. You drop your thumb, maybe you click the ad and you land on their website. Take a moment to screenshot it. Take a moment to just make a little mental note of what grabbed your attention, right? It spoke to you in some way, to the point where now you're on their website. Take a moment, backtrack a bit, look at that ad again. It spoke to you in some way. It provided you with some type of relevant content, and that's key. And again, one of the significance of knowing your audience. Better conversions. Tailoring your marketing efforts to your audience preferences and needs increases the chance of converting leads into customers. So maybe you're looking to increase your online sales. Maybe you're looking to just increase general leads, increase foot traffic. Those are all what we consider conversions, right? One of the questions that we always ask clients when we're working with them for the first time is, what makes you different? In this world, everyone has competition, and we oftentimes find that clients struggle to answer that. It's like, well, I offer these services, and that's about it, right? But if you struggle to answer that, you're going to struggle with developing content and developing messaging. And the second is, we always ask, tell us more about your target audience. And I'm seeing more and more individuals who say, well, it's everyone. Everyone can use my product or services. And that's not the best answer, because when you market to every single person, you're not really marketing to anyone. You're just casting this incredibly wide net, and you're spending a tremendous amount of dollars getting in front of people who will never purchase your product or services. So we want to take this, and this is what we're going to cover in the next couple of slides. We want to take that wide net and start making it a little smaller and a little smaller. This is going to help streamline and optimize your overall messaging, your content that you developed, and then most importantly, your campaign spend, because you don't want to keep spending a ton of money just to try to cast this wide net and see what sticks. There's certainly times where you do want to throw a few things at the wall and see what sticks, right? But in this case, a lot of us really don't have the funds to do that, right? So what can we do to hyper focus and drill down on our target audience? So again, at the end of the day, it helps increase overall conversions. Just a few more in terms of the significance of knowing your audience. What we just discussed right now, improved ROI, return on investment. By focusing your resources on reaching the right people, you can reduce wasted marketing expenses and maximize your return on investment. Quick little example, and these slides are a little text heavy today, so I will be giving some examples too. So if you're taking notes, feel free to write down. But one of the examples for this one was we helped a nonprofit organization in the aggregate industry of Illinois deploy ads. And what they wanted to do was schedule workshops for teachers, because teachers need to earn credits throughout the year, like continuing education credits, I believe. And so in this advertisement, they want to reach teachers who may have an interest in joining one of their aggregate workshops in the quarries across the state. And so we were able to drill down and identify who we're targeting. These are not only teachers, but more specifically, these are science teachers within the state of Illinois. And so very simple, right? But instead of just trying to cast a net to people who may be teachers, we drilled down further to, okay, we're going to now target teachers within the state. Perfect. Let's drill it down a step further, right? Because math teachers wouldn't be interested in this type of thing. Drill it down a step further. These are specifically science teachers who would want to come out and take advantage of this workshop. And within 2 weeks, it blew up online. And so many teachers were tagging other teacher friends, and they sold out within just a couple of weeks, something they hadn't done in 5 or 6 years. And so very simple example, I'm going to give you some other examples today, but really think about how you can start drilling down a bit further into your audiences. And I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that so you can then improve your ROI. Competitive advantage: businesses that know their audience well are better positioned to outperform competitors by offering precisely what their customers want. This is something I started my company in 2015. And like probably some of you on the call, I had a full-time job. I was trying to start this in the evenings. And I did an incredible amount of competitive analysis. And so I looked at every competitor in the region. I looked at their services. I looked at what makes them different, what makes them stand out. I looked at some of their team members on LinkedIn to understand what their backgrounds were, what they specialize in, to really get a good understanding of who we're going to be up against. And this is going to help you really set yourself apart among your competition. And then brand loyalty: when customers feel understood and valued, they're most likely to develop loyalty to your brand and become repeat buyers. We all have had that incredible experience, maybe at a local business before, local organization. You just feel heard, you feel valued when you go there now. And in this day and age, I feel like customer service has certainly taken a hit after COVID. And so brand loyalty, this is what we as consumers are looking for anymore, is just not only a great product or service, but an incredible experience. And when you offer that to your target audience, you're going to find that they will be brand loyal to you. Okay, so let's go through kind of the main portion of today's presentation. And these are methods for identifying your target audience. So there are several bedrock items here when it comes to identifying your audiences, and there's a few methods. Demographics, and we're going to go through each one of these. Psychographics, data analysis, market research, and customer feedback. We use all these different methods to uncover the individuals most likely to be interested in your product or service. So let's dive through each one of these. Okay. The first one is demographic information. So this is where we need to gather data about the basic characteristics of your audience. So this includes age, gender, location, income, education, occupation. Now, of course, if you don't know all these precisely, it's okay, but try to complete a buyer, what's called a buyer persona, as much as you can. Tell me more about your customer, their age, their gender, location, etc. So these are some examples. So let's say if we're a wedding company, right? If we're promoting a wedding photography services, our primary audience might be engaged individuals or recently married couples, right? This makes sense. We also did this for a restaurant that we're helping with when we were overseeing some Valentine's Day marketing blitzes and campaigns. On social media, we were able to target individuals who recently marked themselves as engaged or in a relationship, married, civil union, etc. These are people who are probably more likely to take advantage of a Valentine's Day couples dinner special at a restaurant than someone who is single. And what's great in the world of especially digital is that you can target all those individuals. Everything that you see listed there, age, gender, location, income, those are targeting settings available to you within Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. And so when we go back and look at, let's go back here. One second. Oh, this one here. When we go back here, everything that you see here, demographics, psychographics, data analysis, you have those options available to you on the back end of Facebook. I'm going to show you that example here in a bit. But that's the beauty of digital, especially, is that when we fill out our social media profiles, it's kind of like, oh, I'm just filling out my profile. I'm showcasing what movies I like to watch. This is my hometown. This is my occupation. This is who I'm married to. Yes, we're filling out those profiles, but really, Meta is using that information for marketing purposes. Other example here is household size. So maybe we're promoting services related to home improvement. Knowing the household size is important. A larger household may have different needs than a single person or a couple without children. So for example, Jordan's office is getting renovated, right? And so for that, that's a commercial office, a commercial building. And so in that case, that could be a LinkedIn campaign. That's more of a platform where we're targeting business professionals. And maybe I'm a company where I do offer commercial office remodeling services. Maybe I want to run campaigns specifically on LinkedIn targeting directors, targeting office managers, people who would make decisions, business owners, people that would make decisions for remodeling offices on LinkedIn. And for someone to maybe afford the type of service that I do offer, I'm looking to target companies who have a certain employee size. Maybe these are organizations with maybe 8 full-time employees or more. Those organizations have more of a cash flow to warrant a commercial office remodel. So again, quick little example of how can we fine-tune our content to reach the right people on the right platform online. Okay, psychographics. So gather information about the psychological and behavioral traits of your audience. So this includes values, interests, hobbies, lifestyle, attitudes. So again, the previous one, age, gender, location, income, education, occupation. This one, values, interests, hobbies, lifestyle, attitudes. So a couple of examples here. So lifestyle and hobbies. If you're promoting outdoor adventure gear, your target audience might include people who love hiking, camping, adventure travel. You may be wondering, well, how does it know all that? Not only are we have targeting settings available to us on Facebook, on Instagram, you could also poll, and I'm going to give you some resources available to you. Anytime you use your credit card is being used to market a variety of content to you, right? So I use my credit card for either home decor or home items, and all of a sudden I start getting publications in the mail for similar types of home decor company within a certain price range. It knows that because of my credit card history. And I'm going to show you some resources available to you that you can actually pull Experian credit card reports and identify what's happening in the marketplace. So again, we want to not only understand how old these individuals are, what their income and occupations are, what do they like doing in their maybe in their spare time, values and beliefs. If your company is committed to sustainability and eco-friendliness, you want to appeal to an audience that shares these values, right? And we're seeing kind of this, we have in the past number of years, but this kind of move towards eco-friendly everything, right? Recycled bottles and recycled paper and what we're doing to maybe give back to the environment. Again, there's some great big brands out there that are leaning into that. So again, it really depends on your brand, right? And what your values and beliefs are to then try to target individuals who would also share very similar values and beliefs. The next one here is data analysis. And this is one that I absolutely love because a lot of people don't realize that you have the ability to run incredible reports online. So gather information from various sources that provide you with a comprehensive understanding of your audience. So this includes audience needs, pain points, expectations. And you can do this from a variety of sources, running surveys, focus groups. Focus groups are an incredible way to gather information. I've conducted a number of focus groups over the years for clients to understand, what do you feel about this when you hear this tagline? How much would you pay for this item? There's a lot of information. There's a lot of different ways that you can conduct focus groups, but those can be an extremely valuable source of information to gather from your target audience. Competitor analysis, we talked about that. Industry reports, credit card reports. I'm going to give you some sources at the end to pull all that information. Again, this is valuable data that will really help further understand who your audience is. Market research, very similar to what we just talked about when it comes to focus groups. But so this just gains valuable insights about your audience. So this is behavior, preferences, purchasing patterns. Again, data research and market research are very, very similar. Some common tools that you can use for this: Google Analytics. If you haven't connected your Google Analytics account to your website yet, please, please, please go ahead and do that as soon as you can. If you are familiar with Google Analytics, you may already have Google Analytics, what's called UA, connected on your website. If you do need to go ahead and transition over from Google Analytics UA to Google Analytics 4. That was a recent change that just happened this year. At the end of the day, Analytics is a free program from Google. There's no subscription. All you have to do is paste a line of code on the back end of your website. This tells you where people are coming from, what they looked at on your website. Maybe you're a blogger, popular blog topics that they're reading, where they're dropping off on your website. This really helps understand how your target audience is using your website. Social media insights. I just audited through the SBDC. We also do a variety of social media audits for existing social media platforms. We just reviewed one local company, and it was eye-opening, really, when we were going through their content and we realized, wow, this type of content stands out way more than these other pieces of content. We found that anytime they posted content in line with ABC, it reached more people than the amount of people that actually like or follow their page. It's extending beyond their built-in reach. And they didn't have to pay for anything. And so it's really interesting to see what people are responding to, so we can, again, drill down further into, okay, who's our target audience and what are they actually responding to in terms of our content online. Customer relationship management software, CRM. Again, some of you on the call may already have a CRM system. Those have a tremendous amount of reports that can run, that you can run about your current customers, your current audience. And then customer Wi-Fi network. This is really interesting. Some of you on the call may be brick and mortar stores, maybe coffee shops or restaurants. Maybe you offer Wi-Fi for your customers. We had a client that was a restaurant, and to connect to their Wi-Fi, you had to give them your name, email, and birthday, and that was it. And then you got free Wi-Fi. But what was nice on the back end is that we got data on who these individuals were, what their email addresses were, when their birthdays were, and how often they were visiting. And so we could start pulling reports of certain demographic reports. We could start identifying how often people were coming in, so we can send them some targeting messaging of, hey, your birthday's coming up, enjoy a free appetizer, or hey, we haven't seen you in a while, come back and enjoy 10% off, or whatever it may be. But some of you may want to look into that if you do offer Wi-Fi for your customers. Yes, it's a nice benefit to them, a nice little amenity to them, but then you should get something in return for that as well, for offering this free service, and that's gathering customer information. And of course, customer feedback. So listen to customer feedback, which can offer you valuable audience insights like everything else. Preferences, concern, pricing feedback, improvement, brand perception. So how do I listen to customer feedback? Again, these could be through online surveys. One example we did, a company that, let's say that's a housing company, they student housing. After a tour, we want to gather feedback on the experience that they just had, because that's our first, I guess, foot in the door, if you will. Like this is their first interaction with the company, with the employees. We want to make sure it's tight and it's consistent, right? And so we sent an online survey after every single tour to start gathering and listening to what customers have to say. Customer reviews, these could be a good thing, or this could be a really bad thing if you have some bad reviews online. But customer reviews, specifically Google, Yelp, Travelocity, whatever it may be, it's really important to take the time to listen to what your customers are saying online. This helps you fine-tune things. Maybe your pricing's too high. Maybe your customer service isn't great. Again, this will all help streamline your overall operations. Make sure if you're looking at Google, you have access to your Google Business Manager account. And this is a free account that it comes up on the right-hand side of Google, that lists your business, your photos, your reviews, your hours. Once you're connected to that, you'll get notifications anytime someone leaves you a review, so you can respond in a timely manner. Again, this is all important, not only to protect your brand and to respond to all reviews that come in, but to listen to see, to hear what people have to say. Again, focus groups, social media mentions, making sure that you're monitoring what maybe some people are saying about you online as well. Those are all good sources for customer feedback. So again, for the core methods for identifying your target audience: demographics, psychographics, data analysis, market research, and customer feedback. I think a lot of times when people think of audience identification, they go immediately to demographics, right? The age, the gender, maybe where they're located. But these others are really going to help you develop a well-rounded audience profile, well-rounded buyer persona, when you are looking to drill down a little deeper and make that wide net a little bit smaller when it comes to your advertising strategies. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to pause for a moment. Instead of thinking about your own businesses, we're going to do a little exercise, and this is a real life example. So let's say this is a black car limousine company. We're all the marketing rep now for this limousine company. And this company wants to put a package together where they will pick people up around their service area and then take them to a Cubs game up in Chicago. And then after the game is done, they will bring them back. So it's a almost elevated long Uber ride, if you will. You have your own, black suit tie driver, your chauffeur, and very nice vehicles, SUVs. They had Sprinter vans. They had anything up to a large bus. So that's the scenario. We have a black car company. They have operations in Indianapolis and Champaign. And let's say for this, we want to target people within a 30-mile radius. So we will, from our garage, we will pick people up in a 30-mile radius from the garage. So if we were to think about for a moment, before we just start running an ad, because again, this is where some people, without thinking of their buyer personas and audience profiles, they may just immediately start putting an ad on Facebook or a billboard or something that just says, book your transportation company the next home game, next Cubs home game, and just put it out there. Again, wide net. Let's drill down a little bit more. So if we think about who are the individuals who'd be interested in the service, let's start there. So we think about this, again, black car limousine company. It's not Uber. This is way elevated than Uber. It's a long trip too. And it comes with tickets to the game. So it's like this little trip package. I was to think about that. These are people who probably have more of a disposable income, right? They may travel often because they have a disposable income. They maybe enjoy more luxury goods. They follow more luxury brands online, right? This all makes sense, right? These are more maybe executives, people with deeper pockets, more of a disposable income. They like luxury goods, etc. But we also want to make sure that they're a Cubs fan, right? Because if not, that wide net is going to hit people who, one, don't even like sports, two, are Cardinals fans, and we don't want to do that. So we want to not only couple those who have an interest in luxury goods, have more of a disposable income, but those who are also Cubs fans, right? So let's break down what some of our targeting settings would be on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram. So we know that our location with Champaign and Indianapolis, and we want to cast a net, a 30-mile radius net around those two cities. We know probably if we look back at maybe some rider reports that our typical age range, the minimum age is 30 years old, all the way up to 65 and plus. So we've set our age, and now we've set our location. Again, these are screenshots on the direct back end of your Facebook ad manager account when you are setting up ads, age and locations. But now we want to take it a step further, right? So now we go back into that second bucket. Those are our more demographics, but now we want to go into the psychographics, right? The behaviors and the interests and the hobbies. So we want to layer this now. So include people who match one of the following. They're frequent travelers. They enjoy first-class travel, luxury experiences, lifestyle, magazine, real estate resorts. The list could go on and on and on. For the most part, this pretty much captures people who probably have more of a disposable income. But now we need to include Cubs fans. This is where it gets interesting, right? If you notice the gray text above it, it says, and must also match one of the following. We're adding a second layer on top of our audience targeting. And these are people who must also match Cubs fans, Chicago Cubs baseball, Chicago Cubs fans, radio network. These are all options provided to you from Facebook. But if you were to take what you see on the right, Chicago Cubs, Cubs baseball, and then paste that within the left, right? All the behaviors and interests, what happens? You target people who are Cubs fans, right? If you look at the gray text on the left, include people who match one of the following. You may target a Cubs fan, but maybe it's someone who has no interest in luxury transportation. Maybe they just don't have a deeper pocket. They wouldn't be interested in that service. You could try that, but again, you will be spending money to people who just will not have an interest in that service. Even though they are Cubs fans, they're not going to spend that money for this trip package. So this layering effect include people on the left, and they have to match one of the following on the right. Now we're starting to reach the right people with the right message. Our net just went from here to here, and our ROI is going to be better, our conversions are going to be better, and our overall dollar that we're spending is going to be stretched a little bit further because we're now very targeted in who we're looking to reach. So again, very quick example. You'll find all these settings when you are advertising on Facebook and Instagram. You might be wondering, why are we also talking Instagram if we say we have to go to Facebook? You have to go to what's called your Facebook Ad Manager account when you're running ads both on Facebook and on Instagram. So you go to one account to run ads on both, because Facebook, of course, owns Instagram. So again, a little example of how we layer and how we target the right people. Now, again, once you then go into your content development, we just got done with a Canva webinar a couple of weeks ago, but I definitely recommend looking into Canva. So once you have your audience set, and now you have to develop content that speaks to them, but you're not a graphic designer, or you don't have the funds to hire an agency or hire a graphic designer, you can use Canva. It's a free program. They have great templates on there, really eye-catching, good thumbs-upping content, then to develop content that's going to reach the right people. All right, so we're going to segue into now the second portion of today's conversation. This is all about crafting a winning marketing plan. So you have your brand established, right? You know who you are, you know what sets you apart, you know your products, you know your services. You now know who you're looking to target, right? What are your buyer personas? And one thing to think about, going back to the other section here, it's okay to have different buyer personas. You may have different products or services that you offer, and you may have a different audience for each one of those products or services, and that's great. But just make sure to go through those slides I just reviewed with you, and notate demographic, psychographic, all that information for each one of your product services. Or you may have, again, one audience, targeted audience that kind of aligns with all your different product services. But just remember, it's okay if you have different ones for your different product services. That's good. But now, once you have your brand and your audience set, we need to then develop a marketing plan. And a lot of times people just operate with no plan in place, and they're just boosting some ads, or they're sponsoring this event, and they're just spending money. Having a plan in front of you is going to keep you structured, might keep you sane a little bit, right? And it will help develop a roadmap for success. And it should be a living document. Things should change a bit as you get some metrics come in and you make some adjustments. So like I just mentioned, it's a strategic roadmap that outlines your marketing objectives and the specific actions you'll take to achieve them. It serves as a blueprint for your marketing efforts, helping you stay focused and stay organized. So let's go through, again, some of the winning components of a really solid marketing plan. The first one is you need to define your goals. What are you looking to achieve? Your goals and objectives. Are you looking to increase brand awareness, generate leads, boost sales, expand into a new market, increase foot traffic into your store? At the end of the day, your goal should be what's called SMART. If you haven't heard the SMART acronym, definitely Google it and look up some maybe exercises you could do. But SMART stands for specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, relevant goals, and time-bound goals. Of course, in your plan, you need to outline who we're targeting. So it's everything we just discussed. Identify your ideal customers by the different methods we just reviewed. Of course, within your plan, you need to outline your strategies. These are the approaches that you'll use to achieve your goals. So for example, your strategy might involve email marketing, social media marketing, public relations, content marketing, local marketing. And then from those strategies, what are the tactics you're going to use to then deploy those? So content marketing, if you're looking to really boost content, maybe set yourself up as a local industry leader. Your content marketing is if your content marketing is your strategy, your tactics might include blog posts, videos, podcasts. What are those specific tactics you can use to achieve that strategy? In this case, it's content marketing. And then budget. Determine how much you want to allocate for each tactic, and of course, how much you want to spend throughout the year for marketing purposes. Your budget should align with your goals and the expected return on investment. Now, a little tip for you. Common benchmarks include 5 to 10% of revenue for a small to medium-sized businesses for marketing purposes. And for larger companies, allocating 10 to 20% of your revenue for marketing. So again, it does change. I know when I started my company, we had very little in marketing. And so we tried to be very strategic, do a lot of cross-marketing, did a lot of in-kind like trade to where we can get our name out there in exchange for services, but no money was exchanged. There's a variety of incredible low-cost marketing tactics when it comes to deploying marketing plans where you don't need a huge budget, but you do need to set some aside still, especially on Facebook, on digital, because it's very hard to stand out online, and you need to make sure you can boost some posts and run some targeted ads to get in front of the right people at the right time. And just some other components, we want to make sure you create a timeline for each tactic that will be executed. This helps you plan for seasonality or coordinate efforts effectively. And then metrics and KPIs, or key performance indicators. This will help you measure the success of your marketing plan. So a couple of ways that we measure the success of certain marketing campaigns. We look at, when it comes to digital, we look at social media engagement, so likes, comments, shares, retweets, etc., indicating the level of audience interaction. And the other one and there's so many more as well, these aren't the only two. But the other one I look for, especially on digital, is what's called a click-through rate, or CTR. If I was to come to you and say, hey, we are running a Facebook ad for your business, and you got 10 clicks this week over to your website, you might be asking, great, is that good? Like, what should we be aiming for? A click-through rate helps put everything in perspective a bit. And so let's say if you got 10 clicks this week and your ad was shown 15, 20 times, the ad is doing very well. It's performing very well. That's one of the key KPIs for your digital campaign. But if we're running an ad and it was clicked on 10 times throughout the week, but it was shown 800 times, you have an extremely low click-through rate, right? So there are so many, and you could do some research on Google. Facebook has a click-through rate average, Google has a click-through rate average, any type of digital thing that you do, email marketing, there's always benchmarks that I like to sometimes put on a post-it and have in front of me, or just memorize them. So when you are evaluating how your campaign or how your marketing efforts are performing over the month, look at the benchmarks, look at what averages across all industries, drill down deeper and understand, well, what's the average in my industry? I'm in, let's say, hospitality. What's the average click-through rate for Facebook ads in the hospitality industry? There's going to be studies available to you online. So make sure that you are reviewing what's happening on the back end of all your campaigns, and then making sure you have those benchmarks in front of you so you can see what's happening. If you're achieving way below certain benchmarks, that tells me that either A, we're not targeting the right people, or our creative isn't thumb-stopping enough, or our messaging isn't speaking to the people that we're targeting. There's so many different things that could be affecting maybe lower click-through rates and just overall poor key performance indicators. Okay, we have about 15 minutes. I want to go through this little practice here. And then I'm going to give you some resources, and please feel free to ask some questions at any point in the chat box. So this is a fake business that I came up with. Illini Espresso House. Let's just say this is a new coffee shop opening in downtown Champaign. It's Illini themed, it's very community focused. So this is a new business, and we really want to increase people coming in. We want as many people in, so then we start building this sense of brand loyalty, right? People who will go out in the community and start talking with people, and that, increasing word of mouth marketing. So Illini Espresso House is our example. So let's just kind of build out a very simple marketing outline. So the executive summary: Illini Espresso House is a new coffee shop located in downtown Champaign. This marketing plan focuses on identifying and targeting the right audience to maximize our local presence. So our business goals: to increase foot traffic by 20% in the next 6 months. This is our audience identification. We've identified that the age is between 18 to 45, income ranging between $30,000 to $75,000. Occupation: these are office workers, grad students, remote employees, people which many of us now can work from home, but as probably a lot of us know, we need to get out of the house every once in a while. Now, where do we like to go, right? Coffee shops is usually up there in terms of a list. Starbucks sometimes could be busy, or some of those chain places could be busy. Sometimes the library may be a little too quiet. So if you want some sort of energy, you probably want to go to maybe a local, smaller type of coffee shop. I will say there is a nice cafe in the library as well. But remote employees would be a great demographic to look at. If we think of then, so that's our demographic information that we talked about. If we then now think of their interests, behaviors, hobbies, these are maybe coffee enthusiasts. We're really leaning into just a quality cup of coffee, using maybe partnering with a local coffee roaster here in town. So people who appreciate high quality coffee. These could be also business professionals, individuals working in nearby offices, seeking quick and convenient coffee options. Before we had an office for my company, I always operated out of a coffee shop. I met clients there all the time. That was my other office. So busy professionals, community seekers, local residents looking for a welcoming environment to socialize, and then just overall behaviors. Frequent coffee shop visitors. Maybe these are people who regularly visit downtown Champaign for work or leisure. So we have a nice little running list of who we're looking to now target. Now let's think of maybe some marketing strategies and tactics to increase overall foot traffic. So local partnerships. A tactic could be partner with nearby companies and offer a special loyalty program for their employees to encourage them to visit regularly. In downtown Champaign, there are a handful of large companies, one of them being Busey Bank is their corporate office in downtown Champaign. If I was to open a coffee shop, that would be the first tactic I would do, is getting into Busey Bank and providing maybe some free coffee tastings or free coffee on Fridays, handing out gift certificates left and right, because you have this built-in audience right there. Social media marketing, create engaging Instagram content showcasing specialty coffee blends, cozy atmosphere, catering to the younger demographic, etc. Again, to go back to the objective to get people in, maybe you want to host student study nights during the weekdays, providing discounts to maybe some grad students looking for a quieter place to study. How do we get more people in? Community engagement, engage the local community. Maybe you want to host trivia nights that appeal to various demographics, create a sense of community. It gets them into the store for a certain amount of time. They probably buy on average X amount of cups of coffee, maybe pair it with a little pastry or something. And at the end of the day, they get people in the space. You do go back to that overall objective of increasing foot traffic. Let's just say we have a healthy marketing budget of $20,000 for the year. And then some ways that we can break that up further. Local partnerships between all these different strategies and tactics, local partnerships at 6, social media marketing at 5, and you can see the rest of the list there. Of course, a marketing plan, again, needs to have a timeline in place. So if we think of, and obviously marketing plans go in different directions before, maybe they do month by month, have each month planned out. This one is just an example of quarterly. So Q1 of 24, we launch our social media profiles, engage with the local community. Q2, partner with maybe the local art community to plan maybe live music events. Q3, continue hosting regular events and enhance social media marketing. And Q4, evaluate the marketing plan's performance and of course make necessary adjustments. Our key performance indicators, always evaluating. We want to look at foot traffic. Are we seeing upticks in foot traffic? Making sure individuals are, your people behind the counter are counting the traffic coming in. And this is something where we always run into when we're working with clients. Maybe we're running very targeted digital social media campaigns. The goal of those campaigns are to increase phone calls coming in. But if we have nothing to go off of, then we don't have a benchmark. And so we're really pushing this one client to start tracking, hey, for your front desk staff, track how many calls you have come in a week. And then that starts giving us benchmarks. Do we see peaks and valleys naturally throughout the year? Social media engagement, event attendance, again, tracking how many people are coming to those events, and increase in partnership-driven sales. So maybe you cross-market with another organization. Is that really helping bring in more sales? Again, all different things that you can track. So again, quick example of ways to kind of put a nice simplified marketing outline together. But again, think in terms of all those different categories. That's really going to help you think ahead and have a roadmap right in front of you. I do want to end here with some resources. Audience identification. HubSpot has a great guide on creating buyer personas. There's also a great digital system from Gale called Demographic Now. What's really cool is that if you're a member of the Champaign Public Library, and I'm sure many other libraries have resources as well, but I know specifically the Champaign Public Library, if you're a card holder, you have access to some incredible platforms. You can run credit card reports for your certain market. You can help, these reports can really help you drill down on overall audience identification. Some of the library can help you navigate those systems, but I mean, we've used those when we've done market research for a number of our clients. Marketing plan development, the SBA has a great guide online on developing marketing plans, so does HubSpot. Customer feedback, if you're looking to gather those, SurveyMonkey is a great system for that. And of course, speak with the local SBDC office. They have a great advisor. I used a SBDC advisor when I was getting started on all things, right? Marketing plan development, business plan development, which includes a marketing plan, right? So the SBDC is here to really help you navigate that. And everything we just discussed they can certainly help you help point you in that correct direction. And this is a slide from a SBDC presentation on some customer research tools that are available. Demographics Now at the library. Again, all these are at the Champaign Public Library. I do recommend you contacting your local library if you're not a member of this specific one, just to see if, what research tools are available to me as a card holder. And again, these are very sophisticated, powerful systems here. Again, at no cost to use, which is great. All right, so that brings us to the end of today's presentation. We have about 5 minutes for questions and answers. Again, I do want to thank you for jumping on. I know it's a lot to take in, but hopefully this helps put some things into perspective when it comes to outlining your overall audience and developing a very basic and winning high quality marketing outline plan. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Jordan to see if we had any questions come in.
All righty, thank you. And got the office cleaned up, so I'm back. We do have one question that was submitted, Scott, and it says, what are some examples? Oh, we got two, but let me scroll back up to this one. What are some examples of entities with whom you would externally share your marketing plan? Do you need to tweak the marketing plan to cater to any of these parties in a way? Funders, partners, etc.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Yes, you do need to cater your marketing plans. I mean, we have some of our clients, they have a number of different marketing plans focused around the different audiences that they're looking to reach, right? Or the different products or services that they're looking to sell. So yes, your question of do you need to tweak the marketing plan to cater to any of these parties? Yes, it's not really one blanket reach, one blanket plan reaches everyone, right? You do want to tweak it, you do want to manipulate it a bit. It is good to have a kind of umbrella marketing plan, if you will, throughout the year. So okay, for 2024, the whole year, we're going to allocate X amount of dollars for these efforts. But yes, that's a good question. You do want to make sure you tweak that.
All right. And the next one says, what are your thoughts on using MailChimp for marketing tactics?
Love MailChimp. It's what we use as well. Great program. It is free to use. Of course, there's subscriptions. You can have more, maybe get more context in there. It's great because what I like about email marketing is that there's no limit of how many emails you can have. Keep generating emails because it doesn't cost you anything to send an email to your customers.
Perfect. We are all caught up on questions, but I do want to reiterate what Scott said. The SBDC is always here to help. Advising services are offered at no cost and they're completely confidential. So if you want to work with our office and then also utilize the resources at the library, that's totally fine. I know there was a lot of information in this session. So if you get the recording and download the presentation and revisit the information and there's something you need additional help on, please feel free to reach out to us. Also, our additional webinars with Scott, like he mentioned, are always, they all kind of cross the same topic. So you might learn something in another one that would be beneficial from this one and this and that. So you are welcome to join us for any of those topics. And then we did get a question, will we be sharing the slides? So I'll share the link that Scott shared where you can download a copy. And so you will be able to go to the Clanin Marketing website to download that copy. And I do want to mention, because I know I forgot at the beginning, our website is still under construction. And so we're hoping to have it back up within the next few weeks. But like Scott mentioned, all of our joint sessions with Clanin Marketing are on their website. So that is the easiest place to find all of our marketing focus sessions. If you're looking for any of our other resources, like starting your business or writing a business plan, those can all be found on our Facebook. So I'll include all of that information in the follow-up emails.
Excellent. And real quick, just going back to that MailChimp, there are metrics like average benchmarks for MailChimp too. So average click rates and average open rates. Again, do some research. There's kind of a blended industry, or blended all company average or all industry average. And then there are certain benchmarks for very specific industries as well. So that will help you identify if your email subject line is right, if you're reaching the right people, if people are engaging with that through those metrics as well. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining. I really hope to see you at one of our next webinars. And of course, again, thank you SBDC for making this webinar possible. Good luck with the office renovation, Jordan.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining us and have a great day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye everybody.